morning, everyone, and welcome to Wake Up Legendary. My name is Joanne. I am the marketing director here with Legendary Marketer. I am hosting all week. Dave is enjoying a much needed vacation in the sun with some friends, having a great time. But we still have amazing guests to bring you each morning to help inspire you, motivate you, give you the kick in the butt that you might need, that you're looking for, or just a different outlook of things to try, tips to try in your own business. I think every episode includes a little bit of everything, and you can grab something anywhere for your business, for your life, for your mindset from all of these episodes. I am super pumped for today's guest. Her name is Christy. She has an amazing story. I love her content. She has a ton of energy. And without further ado, let's welcome Christy to the show. Welcome.
Good morning.
I'm so excited to have you here.
I'm excited to be here. A little nervous.
Yeah, right? It's all good. That's typical. It's normal.
Right.
Right? So you have tried a few other things in the past, not digital marketing, not affiliate marketing, but you come from some pretty significant network marketing, correct?
Yes, I've tried selling makeup. I've tried different vitamins. I was a beach body coach at one time, Yeah, of course, I just fizzled out. I got sick of messaging my friends and asking my family to buy products from me. And I just realized it wasn't for me. Right. So then I stumbled across, of course, TikTok and saw one of the Jessicas, I think it was Jessica Zion, maybe the one that has 5 kids. Yep. And you just know, like all of a sudden I was like, yeah, I think that's for me. And then I didn't do it for a while and then jumped in. And then here I am actually a year later, still working, still, trying to get over my imposter syndrome.
That's been like your biggest barrier, right?
Yes.
Just getting going. So you took a break. Was that break before, like you saw videos from Jessica and then you waited to get in the challenge, or you jumped in the challenge and then you paused?
I saw Jessica. I bought the 15-day challenge, bought blueprints. I happened to actually be out on leave. I had a surgery, an outpatient surgery. And I was like, you know what? This is perfect. Like I feel well enough to do something, but not well enough to go back to work type of thing. And so I jumped in, got going, and then you get started, you're making your content, and then I started comparing myself to everybody else who's doing fantastic right away. And then I was like, no, it's my own story. Like it doesn't matter what anybody else is doing, the only thing that matters is what I'm doing. And push through that for a little bit. And then last fall I just stopped, and I don't know why, other than I got inside my head. And, so for about 3 or 4 months, I didn't post at all. Or if I did, it was like once a day. And it was maybe something about manifestation or not necessarily anything about this. Right. And so then I just decided, like, I'm never going to have what I want if I don't put in the effort. And I got kind of tapped back into Legendary, got tapped back into going back to the roots, and was like, you have everything at your fingertips. What are you waiting for? You paid the money. Like, learn. You can do it. Like, why can't I do it? So I had to really go back and work through some of those mindset things, which is still every day. I still have to tell myself, like, just half an hour today, put it on your calendar, just do it, make your content, put it out there, push post, and don't put your phone down. Right. Stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like, it's the silent killer of businesses, right? Is comparing and looking at everyone else. And and that worry of, am I doing it right? Am I good enough?
Right.
Is it worth it? And the thing is, it never goes away. And I think some people are expecting, oh, when I reach this, it's going to go away. I speak to affiliates, our top affiliates, who are like, I almost threw in the towel yesterday. Like, or it just is part of the process, and it's an ongoing game with your head.
Yeah.
For me, it's going to be there. Yeah.
Absolutely it is. Because every day I'm like, okay, wake up. Wake up and get going. You can do this. You could, like, why can't you do it? So I keep that's what I've been using lately is why can't I? Why can't I do it? And then I don't have an answer, right? Like, I just need to put in the work.
Right? Yeah. Especially you have everything right there. If you don't know something, ask. Go look it up. Right?
Google is your best friend, or go back into your training. Like I've gone back to several different trainings of the 15-day challenge. And then I go into blueprints, and then I'm looking at my funnel and I'm like, okay, you need to change this, tweak this. They updated this, so you just got to constantly tap into it and tap into the resources. So I've gone back to that. I'm not where I want to be. I'll be there. I know I will.
And it's, even with funnels and content, those are things, it's not a make it and leave it kind of thing. It always needs tweaking.
Yeah.
Right. We clearly at Legendary have an amazing funnel that converts quite well. But we're always testing it.
Yeah.
We're always and people don't even realize it. We're testing tiny little word changes, or very different layouts and this and that, and different pieces of copy in different sections, and there's always a test going on somewhere. And I think it's important for everyone to remember, you're not married to funnel number one. You're going to have a million different versions,
right?
So don't let it stop you from going live either, because it's going to change in a week. It's okay.
Right? Yeah, that is for sure.
Just keep going. So I know in our title, we say finding purpose after loss. And that's a big reason that is included in your story, in your why. Yeah. And I spoke to you a little bit beforehand of what you're comfortable with sharing, because that's never, a comfortable topic.
Right.
But at least, can you share with us really, how does that play into your why that keeps you going?
Yeah, for sure. So in 2015, I was actually pregnant with triplets, and it was two identical boys, and then my daughter, who's 7. And we actually lost our boys. And when they're identical twins, I'll give you a little bit of stuff of what happened. When you have identical twins, they share the same placenta, which makes them identical. And so one baby will get all the nutrients while the other one doesn't. And it's called twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome. And so we lost one of our boys at 24 weeks. We found out at our scan that he had passed away. And then I delivered both Hudson and Avery at 30 weeks. So we were 10 weeks early in the NICU for a very long time. And actually behind me is a picture of Hudson. Move my head there. And so he lived for 10 days. And we had to make some very difficult decisions about him, because they gave, like he had so many, like he would have needed a kidney transplant, and he, like his lungs, of course, were not fully developed. And so when they're born that early, and we knew that he had cerebral palsy, we knew that his brain had stopped developing. And so we made that difficult decision to take him off life support. And so after that, of course, you're in this really weird spot, because you're very sad and happy at the same time. Because of course I still had my beautiful daughter, Avery, and I had a 15-month-old at the same time. So it was just kind of a very crazy time for us as a family. And then after losing them, my husband and I decided that we needed to live our life to honor them. And so we're part of several different nonprofit organizations that bring awareness to pregnancy and infant loss, and then some twin-to-twin transfusion, nonprofits as well, to bring light to that. And so this kind of, it's going to sound very cheesy, but anytime anybody would ask me if I won the lottery, what would I do? And one of the main things that I would do, and still true to this day, is I would want to start a research center about twin to twin. And I would want to, like, the hospital that I went to is a fantastic hospital, but they didn't do the research on twin to twin. Like if the boys would have survived and we would have caught it before Brooks died, we could have had a surgery. Well, they don't do that in my hospital. I would have had to gone elsewhere. So
right.
I always said that I wanted to donate money to start that here at our hospital and to do more research on it. And so when I learned the income potential for this position, for this starting your own business, and being, even if it's not millions of dollars a donation, every dollar, things like this, to me, every dollar counts.
Right.
Whether, and so being able to donate to a cause like that and honor them in that way is what I'm working for. And there are days where it's not that I ever forget about my boys, but there's days that I forget that that's what I'm working for. So I have a little Post-it note now every day to help me get through my imposter syndrome and work towards that, because at the end of the day, that's what I want to be remembered by when I'm not here, and leaving that legacy and honoring them in ways more than just we do small things all the time to honor them, but in a larger way that's going to actually help more people. So that's my why, and why I decided to do it and jump in. And
that is amazing. You are amazing. That is beautiful. And on top of that, what an amazing example through action that you're showing your girls.
Yeah, thank you. That's what that's what my husband and I really focus on, is trying to be, there, even though that was, losing a child is never, ever what anybody wants to experience. And it's not a club I hope anybody ever joins, because it's not fun. And it's very heartbreaking. And just like with grief, it ebbs and flows. And there's the first day of kindergarten, I'm supposed to have 3 kids going. And so I remember, not that I always remember that, but showing my girls that, yes, you can go to college, and yes, I want you to have that experience as a young adult, because everybody needs to experience going to college and just being away from mom and dad. But I also want them to know that's okay if you don't go and you decide to take a different route and you go after something you love. That doesn't necessarily mean a 4-year degree. Right. And that you have that purpose.
Yeah.
Why you're doing something.
Right. That's really what it is finding a purpose behind why, that isn't just because everyone else told me to.
Right.
Or just to pay the mortgage or the rent, because you just won't feel fulfilled. You won't have that bigger reason. And your family went through a huge loss, and you're also showing them how you thrive through a loss.
Yeah.
Which is huge.
And it's definitely not easy, and it hasn't been an easy road. It's not been an easy road, just like on every aspect of your life. Right. So like my relationship with my husband, and dealing with that. My dog is whining. Sorry. I don't know if you can hear it, but so I just have to remember that every day, I'm doing it to honor them.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful story. Thank you for sharing. I know that's not the best topic first thing in the morning, but man, that's the only reason you need to keep going.
Yep.
And it's a beautiful story, amazing family, and your girls are going to be just fabulous adults.
I hope so.
Yeah. Right. I love it. I mean, yeah. So there was something in your questionnaire, a term that I hadn't heard in a long time that you put in there. And you'd mentioned how you are always overcoming self-doubt, but you used the term baby elephant syndrome. So explain to everyone what baby elephant syndrome is.
So, and I don't know if anybody's ever Googled it or did any research on what it is, but it's back to that basic. So that like when you think about baby elephants in captivity, they put that chain around their foot and they can only go within that space, right? And that little, how far that chain is. And as we grow up, we kind of do that to ourselves. So we grow up knowing that you have to go to college or you have to learn a trade and you have to work a 9 to 5 and work 40 hours a week for the rest of your life to retire. And then unfortunately, a lot of people do retire and then they get like maybe 5-10 years and then they die. Right. So overcoming that mindset that what I learned growing up is not, you can break free of that chain, because elephants, even as they grow up, they still think they have that chain around their foot, even if they've outgrown that chain and their trainers have taken them off, right? Like they still think they can only go within that radius of that chain. Mm-hmm. And it's the same with our mindset, is that if you don't think that you can ever break free of those beliefs that are kind of ingrained in us. And that's one thing that I've really have struggled with, is that, my parents are fantastic. Like I can't, not everybody is blessed as I have been with that. Like my parents are fantastic. And they always told me that if you want something, you can do it. Like go after it. You have to work hard for it, but you can do whatever you set your mind to, right? Well, that's true. But yet, here I am, 46, still working my 9 to 5, went to college, did all the things I was supposed to do, and just struggling with that. Like, yes, this is out of the norm. And then like, yes. And it's a little bit different because it's in the online space, right? And we're still trying to wrap our brain about starting just an online business only. My husband has a brick and mortar, and I'm like, so why would I be ashamed to tell somebody I'm starting an online business? What's truly the difference? I mean, like, it's the same thing as starting a brick and mortar, but it's just a lot cheaper, right? And so I've had to overcome that and that taboo. And
I get it. I have older siblings and they're like, so you're online, so you just like create scams. Like I was literally asked that. I'm like, yeah, I just sit around.
Right. It is totally a scam.
Right. Yeah. That's the goal, guys. Come on.
Yeah. So just trying to overcome that. And I struggle with that too, like those beliefs that they're just ingrained in you as you grow up in that school system, and that tells you that's what you have to do. And I'm the same as everybody else, still struggling with that. Like I just have to overcome that. The one thing that's really helped is I listened to a podcast by Mel Robbins, and that 5-second rule, I use it every day. I even use it on my kids. I'm like, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get out of bed. But like just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, push post, create the TikTok, create the email, do it. So that has helped her. She has a Reinvent Yourself podcast too that I listen to, which it's probably geared towards more people 40 and above, but it really applies to truly to anybody. But it talks about you're on a road trip. Like this is your road trip. It's okay to stop along the way and go take a rest, but get back in your car and keep driving. And that analogy has worked really, really well. Like you can drive your car wherever you want on that road trip, but like, don't forget, sometimes you do have to pause, but keep going. Don't stop.
Gotta keep going. Yeah. And going back to the chains part is we all have it.
Yeah.
Every fear is that chain around our ankle. And sometimes it's scary to take it off. And so I invite people, and I've heard this before, and I'm going to repeat it. You don't have to take it off permanently right away because that's really hard. We've all gone through the school system. We had to raise our hand to go to the bathroom. We had to, raise our hand to go get a pair of scissors from the scissor drawer. You had to ask permission. That is part of that chain that just stays with us into adulthood.
Yeah.
And take it off for an hour. What if you didn't have to answer to anybody for an hour? You didn't have to worry about it. Anybody thought, take it off for an hour. What would you do in that hour? Just step out a little bit out of your comfort zone and then take it off for a day. Take it off for 3 hours, whatever you need, but take the small steps on your journey and just keep going.
Yeah. That's really helped me to go back to that analogy and like, you're not a baby elephant. There's nothing around your ankle, Christy.
Right?
Nothing. Yeah. What are you doing? Get out of your head.
Right?
Just go. Do it.
Yeah. Take the road trip and see where it takes you.
Right?
And take a break if you need it. But
keep going.
That isn't where you're stopping and staying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's huge. I love it. So when you jumped back in, for those that came in late, she went through the challenge last year and she just stopped after a while, but then came back. What did you change the second time around? What was the biggest change?
The biggest change, I think when I originally started, like I was gung-ho, I was all excited. And then you get going and you're, and I've seen a couple other creators too and legendary affiliates that say this has happened to them, that they're not seeing the immediate results that like some people see.
Right.
I had to tell myself it's okay that I'm not seeing that results, that it'll happen in time as long as I don't stop. So when I came back in, I really plugged back into all the resources that Legendary offers. I really stepped back in. I started listening to Wake Up Legendary again. I started going back in and listening to, I had stopped doing some mindset stuff. So I really plugged back into all those things that really make a difference in actually taking action. Because I wasn't, like, I'd stopped. I'm like, I would still watch everybody's TikToks when I wasn't doing it. I still would pay attention to the scoreboard, but it was like, you're not going to be on the scoreboard because you're not even creating content. Like, no one knows until like. So I just really have started to plug back into all the resources that are out there and posting that, like I moved my desk. So now a big picture of Hudson's right behind me and plugging back into truly why I decided to do this to begin with, like not forgetting that. And you guys, like, honestly, there's so many resources out there. Going back and honestly, I needed to do the challenge again. Like, not because I needed everything was set up. All I just needed that mindset shift again to believe in myself. Right.
Right.
And honestly, even when I got the message from Dave and then Roxy followed up with me, I was like, Roxy, I don't know. I was like, I don't think I'm worth, like, I seriously said to her, I don't know if I'm worthy to be on the show. Like, I felt that way. I was like, why are you reaching out to me? Like, I'm terrible at this. She's like, no, you're fine. She's like, I believe in you. You should believe in you. Yeah. You deserve to be on the show. And so and I was like, okay. And then I started, like, I had to pump myself up and be like, yes, I have something to offer. There's other people out there just like me, like that either have started and stopped or are inside their head and feel not worthy. And so I just had to tell myself that, like, somebody needs to hear my story. Somebody out there needs to hear my story today. So
I think a lot need to hear your story because that's actually more the norm.
Yeah, there's a lot.
The norm is not like, success in 2 weeks and everything's fabulous and wonderful. That's not the norm. Your story is the norm. Your experience is the norm. Mindset issues, self-doubt, self-confidence, and taking action, those worries, that's the norm. And when people hear that, oh my gosh, my self-doubt is actually what's normal,
Yeah.
I'm okay. I can do this because there's other people out here that are experiencing the same thing. Um, it really inspires a lot of people. So I'm so glad you didn't bail and cancel, because we've had guests to do that because they have too much fear and they go into this cell. Oh, I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
Like, no, you were invited. You have something to share. And man, what an amazing interview.
Well, and it's funny because I remember when I started, I would watch Wake Up Legendary. And then again, I was like, someday I'm going to be on that show. I'm going to be on the show. And then I get the email and I like froze. I seriously I'm like, yes, I'll be on it. And then all of a sudden I was like, as it got closer and she's like, you need to fill out like all your questionnaire. And I was like, I don't know what to put on it. Like, I'm not like everybody else. And so we moved the date. I'm going to be honest. We moved the date. And then I told myself, I was like, you're not rescheduling. You're doing it because it's important. It isn't important. And I just kept telling myself, like, somebody needs to hear that they can do it.
Yeah. And that's all you need. The puppy wants your love too.
I can't believe he's actually not over here on my lap.
We have done interviews with dogs on laps before, so it's all good. But yeah, just it's failing forward.
Mm-hmm.
It's taking imperfect action daily, regularly, and being okay with it. That it's throwing out this idea of perfection, because that's fake. That's not real. And when we keep searching for this perfection piece before we can take action, we're screwed.
It's so true, because I've caught myself caught up in that. And I'm like, stop. It's okay if you don't have every word spelled right. If you stumble over your words, like there's times where I'm like, oh my word, what did I just say on that video? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Like,
right?
No one cares.
Post it. Just post it. And then you can go back with an analytical mind and go, how did that perform?
Right.
What elements in the video helped it or hurt it? And then learn from that, right?
Right. And I've done that as well. I've gone back and looked through them and been like, okay, that was like, what is that? What did I just do? Oh, how many people saw that? Oh, good. It didn't perform very well.
Could you imagine that? I mean, we're really talking about, oh, that video didn't do well. It only had 50 views or 100 views. But if we were in a room with 50 or 100 people,
oh, right,
we would be mortified. But this is like, no big deal.
I don't know any of those people, right?
It's all perspective. And that's what's beautiful about being online. It just doesn't matter.
No. And that's what I've had to tell myself too. And even when my videos aren't performing, like I've never had any kind of crazy viral video, and I'm okay with that. And I'm like, okay, well, if I was standing in front of a room and there was 200 people in it, so my video, hey, one small step at a time. Like 200, I'm good. Like if it was in person, I would be like sweating profusely, all the things.
And what an opportunity.
Yeah, for sure.
What an opportunity. I mean, back in the day before, all of social media and, my family, we have a brick and mortar, and you're doing flyers and mailers, and you're just hoping you hit your target.
Yeah.
Doing this blanket mailing, and who knows who's going to come in or see it. You put a little coupon to track it a little bit, and it takes weeks.
It maybe on it, yeah.
Right? So just to maybe get a few more people in the door. And now we have this amazing opportunity. And people are upset about 200 views, 300 views. Yes, that means there's still room for progress,
right,
and growth, but you're going somewhere.
That could be 200 brand new people who've never seen you before.
Right. And if you stop posting, they don't get to have a chance to get to know you.
Right. So true.
They'll just see someone else that's talking about the same thing, that's posting 5 more times a week than you, and they'll end up clicking that person's link. because you stopped.
Yeah.
And that's where people forget. You just have to keep going because people need more touches. They want to get to know you. And if you stop, they're going to get it from someone else.
It's so true.
So why not me? Just like the question you always ask yourself that you shared with us at the beginning when you start to have that self-doubt. Why not me? There's no reason.
I'm my biggest obstacle. Everybody, like, you just get inside your head. And I remember, I don't know where I heard it, but someone once told me, if you're inside your head, you're dead. Mm-hmm. And it's so true. And so that I tell myself that, like, get out of your head. Like, you're not doing anything by overanalyzing. Just do it. Stop being scared. Because what are you scared of? I don't know. I'm just scared of putting myself out there, I guess. Well, you've already done it. How many times? Stop.
Right?
Yeah.
Or you have to look perfect on video.
Yeah.
Are we all looking perfect when we go to the grocery store a few times a week with all those strangers walking around?
Right? We all go to Walmart in our sweatpants.
Right? So you can show up on a video the same way, right, if that's who you are.
Right.
Yeah. It's stop trying to be something you're not. Go in, be who you are. And I feel like you really do that well in your content. You just kind of share your personality, who you are each day. And I think that's what really connects people to you.
Thank you. I try. Because watching all the shows, that's the one thing that stuck out to me is just be yourself. And my daughter just told me the other day, she's like, Mom, you're so goofy. And I was like, yeah, I kind of am. Like, mm-hmm. But that's who I am. I'm like, I just want to have fun because we got enough in life to be serious all the time. Like, yep. And I'm always like singing some little song to them about I made like spaghetti and I'm singing some goofy Italian voice. Mm-hmm. And they're like, Mom, who are you? And I'm like, I'm me.
Yeah.
I may not sing on my videos because nobody probably wants me to do that. But there's been times where I like completely mess up my words and I was going to edit it out. And I'm like, no. Like, yeah. I was like, blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, now I can spit out my words and here I go.
Yep. I love it. You got to have fun. And sometimes it's silly fun just in life. And, my kids are now teenagers, but I've totally been in that phase where they're like so embarrassed. Mom, can you get it together? And I'm like, you know what? There's enough hard things in life. Just like what you just said. If you don't find the fun and you let everyone else decide how you have to act through the day, your life will be miserable.
It will. And just be true to who you are. And because most people are going to like you who you are anyway. And if they don't matter.
Yeah.
They don't. Like, not everybody likes me. I'm in HR. People don't like me. And I'm like, that's okay. I know I'm the rule enforcer. It's not a fun job. I mean, like it is if I actually really like my full-time job, but eventually I am working to leave it. But like at the end of the day, I like helping people. And I tell them all the time, if you don't like your job here, like it's okay to find something you like. Right? Find something you like and go for it. Life's too short to hate your job.
Totally.
And you gotta have fun. And I don't care if you don't like me.
Right. And I love the balance you have. So you have like your rule enforcer by day, HR.
Yeah.
Creating TikToks by night.
Yeah, it's truly. And there's days I do it in my office. I just shut my door and I'm like, okay, I haven't done it yet. Just shut the door and do it in the office. No one's I have a little sign that says meeting in progress. And so I just like give myself like 15 minutes. Here you go. Do your TikTok. Doesn't matter if you're in your work office and the lighting is terrible. You just post something today.
Yeah, totally. I love it. All right, Karen, we're going to help you out right now because I know you and your husband are newer to our program. Karen just asked, she can't get through the framework of setting it up to even post. So she's looking for a framework for her videos to follow. What is your framework that works best for you right now?
My framework.
Hook at the beginning. A call to action in the middle, at the
Um,
end, a piece of value.
right. So I am not original in any way, shape, or form. I follow several. I follow Emily Walcott, and I follow Jessica Mulatto, and I think Jess Zion. Those are my three that I truly follow. And I will just take what they post, do something maybe similar, maybe not similar. And Quillbot, isn't it Quillbot? The where you paraphrase, it'll change the word so you're not using the exact same language. Quillbot.com. I go there, I type in, and half the time while I'm either copy and pasting or typing it in, I come up with it in myself, right? And so then I'm like, okay, that's more in my language. And I just post it. I have been trying to be more consistent on coming up with a strategy. So I try to post something that's like motivational or books to read, podcasts. So I try to at least do one of those, and then one quick, like 5-second, like, maybe it's, so for me, mine's a little bit different, that I'm not going after somebody that's really not having a hard time paying bills. I'm going after somebody that's looking to leave corporate life because they're missing out on time with their family. Right. And somebody else, like I said, I'm not original. I try to just,
but you're not copying it. You're using it as inspiration. Yes, and then you're going, okay, so this is a topic they talked about. How can I fit this into my own story for my own audience?
Right.
My own look, my own creativity added to it. Right. Those are, so it's not copying. So we want to make that clear. Don't go and be like, okay, I'm going to make this exact video. But you are getting ideas.
Yes, for sure.
Yep. And then you're using a little AI.
Yep, I'm using AI to help, because
which is always good too. Take advantage of the tools that are now available to us. Yep. Make your life easier.
For sure.
Call
to action is usually tap my picture for your free guide to get started. If you're in, and sometimes it's like, if you're interested at all in changing your life, tap my picture. And instead of saying link in bio, occasionally I'll say link in bio, but I usually just say tap my picture, get my free guide, message below. But usually I only use one CTA, which I've played around with using more than one, and I don't know which works best for me yet. So I'm still there, but I don't know if that helped with the question.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just sometimes our viewers just want like the meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
What's a list I can write down right now and implement? So I think that is helpful. I would say it would be helpful for me. So I appreciate you sharing that, definitely. But man, what an interview. You have to come back. I want to hear all about the progress. We need to meet Dave. Dave would love to hear your story. I want to leave you with the final word today. What is your one piece of advice for somebody in the challenge right now, getting started?
Just start. Just do it. Even if you're in the challenge and maybe you don't have anything set up, make your first video, because you just have to get your feet wet. And even if I know it's uncomfortable, but just do one small step a day. You can do it. If I can do it, and I still am overcoming all the self-doubt, all the fear of doing it. You just have to do it. Just jump in. You won't regret it. Just remember, everybody always tells, I've heard this my whole life, like, your life begins outside your comfort zone.
Absolutely. Take the chain off your ankle for a little bit. You're not a baby elephant.
Like you said, you can always put it back on.
Right? You can put it back on if that's what's comfortable, but practice taking it off, at least to start with.
Yep.
See how it feels. Yeah, it's going to feel scary.
For sure. It is. And I get scared about stuff every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm just like you. I'm just like everybody watching. There's nobody, I'm not anybody different. I just, I'm still doing my baby steps too.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing everything this morning. If you missed any of this interview, go back and watch the replay. This is a massive dose of Tuesday inspiration and advice. So I really appreciate you taking the time, Christy, to come in today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, definitely. Take care.
Have a good day.
All right. You can follow Christy on TikTok at Christy, CHRISTY.Krogman, KROGMAN. It's on the screen. Take a look. Go give her a follow on TikTok. Comment on her videos. Let her know that you saw her interview on Wake Up Legendary. Wow. What an interview. I'm fired up. I'm ready for the day. Thank you, Christy, for giving me my dose of inspiration today. And I invite everyone else to just take a step, doesn't matter the size, out of your comfort zone and know it's normal to feel fear, scared, self-doubt, comparing yourself, but you're the one in charge that gets to change it. You're the one that gets to take the action to just keep going. So I recommend seeing how that feels. Take a step. Enjoy the day, and we will be back tomorrow. Take care.